Do you want to live a life of freedom and adventure? Are you wanting more than the daily grind? Me too. Welcome to the EMMA LOVELL Show, a place where we talk about living a life you love now. I'm your host, Emma Lovell, and my number one value is freedom. I've spent the last 14 years running a business and traveling the world, and now I take my husband and toddler along for the adventure too. It's possible, and I know you can create a life doing what you truly love as well. This podcast will inspire, motivate, and encourage you to go after your dreams, to create a life you love and to live it now, not wait for retirement or someday in the future. I'll be sharing episodes weekly about how I harmonize business, travel, and self-care. I'll also bring on incredible guests to share their journeys, the wins, the challenges, and how they're creating a life they love. Let's jump in and get dreaming. This is a space for you to manifest a life you love. I would like to acknowledge and recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the first peoples of this place, now known as Australia. I am grateful for the continuing care of the land, waterways and skies where I work, live, listen, learn and play. From here on Yugambeh country and from wherever you are listening, I pay my respects to the elders past and present. Hello and welcome to the podcast. Today I am your host, Emma Lovell, and it's quite a fun one today because I'm going to be talking about an audiobook. So this is a podcast, obviously it's a voice medium, but I've had the pleasure now of recording not one, but two audiobooks, and I wanted to share the behind the scenes of the experience because there's some lessons that I gained from the audiobook process that sort of flow into other areas of work and life as well. But yeah, so behind me, I'm recording a video as well as audio, is my copy of The Art of Pleasure, my first book. And then I don't yet have a printed copy, but I do have the audiobook out now of the second book that I've written, which is my cousin Bill's life story, A Life of Magic, all about he is a World War II veteran, Navy veteran, and a magician. He's been a magician since he learnt magic in World War II when he was in hospital in Sydney in Australia. But he is an American veteran living just outside of Chicago. It's why I go to the USA so often. And this project was 16 years in the making. And I really felt like his story had to be done on audio as well. And I always knew my book would be an audio. But the funny thing is with these two books is my audiobook came 9 months after the printed book. A, energy-wise, also B, financial-wise. Whereas Kazi's book, the audiobook came first and the printed version is coming 6 weeks after the audiobook. So go figure. So A Life of Magic is out now. It's on ebook, it's on audio, it's on Spotify and Audible. So you can listen. But the cool thing about the second book as well was that I actually only narrated 20% of it. I did my parts where I'm actually speaking in the book. And then I did the friends' voices, which was much more challenging than I imagined. And then we had a narrator do Bill's voice. So the amazing Tyler Coppin. He's an American, he is actually an American voice coach. So he teaches people how to do American accents, and he did Kazi's voice and he is so incredible. It makes me want to cry. But yeah, audiobook recording is no joke. And I'm looking at the wall. I've got a lovely friend's name on my wall. We did a podcast together and her name is Sally Prosser, and she actually recorded her audiobook in 1 day. Now I did not. My first audiobook, it took me 5 days. And the second book, I was in the studio for 1 day and then another day where we do a thing called pickups. But one of the lessons I wanted to share from that process was that how much energy it takes. And, you know, I had somebody guiding me early on and I wanted to get the audiobook done earlier, but they kept saying, you just don't have the energy for it now. And you know, I was dealing with extreme grief after writing my book, The Art of Pleasure. Gonna get emotional. My nephew passed away in July. My book came out like a month later. I was like doing final touches on my book, and it was a lot. So, and then just the whirlwind of your first book, and I did book launches and PR and promotion and whilst I had a 3-year-old and normal life and business. And so, as much as I would have loved to do the audiobook at the time, it's also each book has cost the audiobook alone. It costs me, and each book is different, how long it's going to take you and what's involved, the pages, the editing required, all those sorts of things. So it cost me $6,000 each time, so which is a fair chunk of change. And now the difference between the audiobook, the benefit of the audiobook with that finance is that you pay that fee once and then you don't pay again. Whereas with the book, your initial run, your initial print, that's why you do a lot of pre-orders and things like that, because you're trying to cover the cost of making the book, of the editing, the publishing, the line editing, the design, all of those things. So you're not paying, for the printing of the book. It doesn't cost you $30 to print paper. I mean, it does. I printed one at Officeworks. It cost $50. So en masse, it costs less. So you're not paying for the paper. You're paying for the production. You're paying for the work that goes into it. But the thing with the printed book is, I've got about 8 copies left in my house. So if I sell more books, I have to buy more books to sell more books. Do you know what I mean? So every time I sell a book, there's going to be a cost of actually printing the book. With the audiobook, you pay a big lump sum up front, and then after that, you just make the money from it. Now, don't go thinking it's like, you're like, woohoo, make it rain. My first royalty check for the audiobook, I was so happy. Don't get me wrong. It was $11.84. But I can't tell you how happy that made me. Like $11.84. I've had another one for $16. I've had another one for $16. Like, but in 10 years' time, getting $16 here or $30 there or $50 there, like, that's going to be amazing. And but I don't have to do anything with it. There's this amazing company. So I did the recording with Square Sound both times. Amazing team, amazing people. Marianne Platzer, my producer, and Keenan Wardrop, my audio engineer and director. Amazing team to work with. So we worked together on that. Then Author Republic, they distribute it. So also, again, a wonderful person there, Melanie, she loads it all up, makes sure it's all correct, because Audible and Spotify have to approve it. I mean, there's many other outlets, audiobook.com. There's actually a lot of places you can listen to audiobook, iTunes, but you have to be accepted. So if your book's not the right format, if they find an error in it, if the file's not right, they will not accept it and you will have to go through the process again. So, and I know people who are only on Spotify, they're not able to get it on Audible. So this Author Republic were able to get me on Audible both times, which is huge. Audible is the largest listening platform in the world. I listen to books, and what makes me cry is at the end of each book, it goes, "This has been an Audible production." You've been listening to Audible. And I'm like, oh. And the bit that got me emotional both times when I read the book was at the end, you say, "All rights reserved." Yeah, it's like written and published by EMMA Lovell, all rights reserved. And that's like, you hear that at the end, and I was like, it's a proper audiobook. And I love in the front of the books that I have like the stamp of the National Library and things like that. Anyway, but some of the lessons I learned, like leading up to the first one, was like, I thought I do a podcast and I talk, and Marianne actually listened to my podcast, which was amazing. But it's very different because I'm just talking to you. I have no script, I have no notes. People think, she was like, yeah, yours is scripted. I was like, no, it's not. I don't script at all. I think you can tell by my yammering. But people thought I was scripted. I'm not scripted. This is never pre-written. This is just downloaded. And all my conversations, the only thing that it was ever scripted is if I read somebody's bio. And I don't even really do that because I get them to read it out. I don't do a pre-intro ramble anymore. I just say, hey, welcome to the podcast. Here's my guest. And they introduce themselves. So to read, you have to read what is written. And that was the part that I didn't realize would be so challenging, is you're reading and you have to read with your good intonation and your expression. But you have to read the words as they are. And if you don't read them with the right intonation, if you don't read them, or you stumble on a word, they stop you and you go back. What I didn't realize though was I was like practicing reading it, and I thought I was just going to be reading slabs of text, but literally, you read a line, you get to like the fourth word and you stumble. They go, okay, take it back. But you only take it back maybe to the start of the sentence or the word before. And so I was like, oh. And so the first time I was so terrified. And, it's a very serious process. And I actually knew that they could actually tell me that this isn't working. And so I could pay, not that they would give me my money back or stop or whatever, but I could pay, I could make the time. I booked accommodation for a week. I really did everything right. I didn't try to not talk as much. Like they gave me all this preparation guide. I had this amazing throat coat tea. So if you're ever doing speaking or a lot of presenting or have a big day ahead, throat coat is amazing. It like literally like lacquers your throat and protects it. I didn't have coffee. I was eating healthily. I tried to get enough sleep. I was really, really, really did all this setup. And you're getting up 5 days. So I didn't see anyone. I usually like stay with people and do a bit of leisure. But I was like, no, I'm here to do this thing. So I booked accommodation by myself. I walked to the studio each day. All I did was that. And I was so nervous because I was like, they could still tell me I'm not up to scratch. Um, Thankfully, I had an amazing director. Keenan was incredible to work with. We had a chat before we started. He understood what it meant to me and understood what I wanted to get out of it. So it meant that when we were doing the recording, sometimes he'd be like, come on, Em, like, let's give it a bit more there. Like, know what you're trying to say here. Like, make sure it's got that energy. And, you fatigue. And because my first book had so much emotion in it, I had some emotion in my second book too. I'm crying just talking about it. And we want to get that emotion without getting like the words lost. So we actually jumped around with the recording for my first book because we knew there was heavier stuff and that there might be harder things. So we started in a bit of an easier place. So that's not traditionally what you do. It's a lot more work to edit it around. But Keenan was wonderful. But yeah, just because you do something in one way doesn't mean that it literally translates over. So I do have some skill sets, but it was the reading that makes you tired. My eyes, I haven't felt a tiredness like that. Like it's like jet lag slash it wasn't that's like a hangover kind of tired or newborn tired. It was this focus, like being so focused, so on one word at a time, line by line. Like that is a focus like I haven't experienced, and it was incredible to be so in the zone, but very exhausting. And so having to go home and have naps, just having to have a lot of space around it. And but what I learned was like having that, how nice it was to just do one thing for a week, how nice it was just to have to one focus and to give my all, because I had, this very real understanding that I'm investing in this thing and this thing will live on. Do it well and do it well once, because I do know of people, business colleagues, who have recorded their entire book at home. You can record it at home. You can get a good space. This space isn't good enough. I know people tell me it sounds a bit echoey. I'm sorry. I actually have a microphone here. I need to get it plugged into my computer and get my husband to set it up because I don't know to check. But I bought a microphone and it's a very nice microphone. It's just not plugged into my computer. So it was so nice to be in a proper studio, but they said do it well because people have recorded it themselves, learned how to upload it, spent all this time uploading it, getting it all there, getting all the things done, and then they reject it. And then they've had to go and pay and go and spend the time and do it again. So I just was like, I need the professionals on this one. And what was so nice was fully being able to hand over and fully being able to trust, and know that this team was incredible at what they do, and to really, yeah, invest in this book, to know that it was going to live on. Both of these books are going to live on, that it is the best testament and case study of my work, and the best way to hear, experience the book, because it's my words. And the same with my cousin's words, although it's not him exactly. He is at the start of the book. We got a recording of him at the start of the book. But yeah, the story really comes to life, and it also makes it really accessible because some people cannot literally read a book through impairment or through age or through focus or whatever. Like there's multiple reasons why people can't read a book, but this is a way for them to still hear the content. But investing in it and doing it with professionals, like walking in the second time, knowing how professional the team was, how well set up the studio is, my water is there, I get offered a tea. All my job is to sit down, read the words, tell the story as it's written. And I just get to use my voice. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, can I just do this all the time? Like, if anyone needs a narrator, I think I did a pretty good job. My husband said I did a good job. And he could listen to it objectively. So I'm like, I would love to do this all the time because it was just so amazing to have such professionalism, to be able to fully hand over, to fully trust, to work with this team and to know that they are only going to make it better. And so these are just some of the experiences and lessons from the audiobook. It's trust, find a team that you can trust and work with them. You don't have to do everything yourself. Yes, there's a cost to that. Yes, there was an investment in that, but like knowing that it was done well and done properly and that it's now out there in the world and that it now just gets to live its life and it will make money in the future, that is such a benefit. Give yourself time and focus if something's important to you. Like it's just a short time, like 5 days, 3 days. Invest the time and energy to give that thing your all and allow yourself the space and the rest around it so that you're just fully showing up for that thing. Like, I don't think I've ever shown up so completely and wholly. And it's then given me the permission to go stay by myself when I have a project to work on or to just to switch off because I have to just give that, like this short window of time, give it my all, to take it seriously, to care. All of these things were such powerful lessons. Not that I don't care, but like I do try to like hold many things at once and I just couldn't. I had to be present. I had to focus, but I was supported in that because I had an amazing team, an amazing professional. So cannot recommend Square Sound more highly. If you have a book, I know it's a decent investment, but I think that accessibility piece is really important. And, you know, being able to listen to it in such a clean and simple way, the way Audible and Spotify and audiobooks.com, the way that the files are loaded, it's so easy to revisit, to make it faster or slower. Like it's just a really accessible way to consume content. And so if you can, and you're planning on writing a book, try to plan into your budget this audiobook element, because it's just such a great way for people to get to know you and meet you and experience your work. So that's it for today. This wasn't what I was planning to do, but I just felt really inspired to share that. I hope you go and listen. We have them in the show notes. So my book is The Art of Pleasure, and then my cousin's book that I've now written is A Life of Magic. And you'll get to hear Tyler's amazing voice being Bill as well, which was a real treat. And I think you'll get to hear the dynamic between us, which is really special. So if you have any more questions about this, I would love to talk to you. If you are wanting to go down this journey, I'm happy to chat. I do coaching across the board, so for all elements of life. But if this is something that you want to sort of work on a strategy for, it is what I can do. And I can also direct you to my preferred partners and specialists who I've worked with to make these dreams a reality. So wishing you all the best. And happy listening, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode. And if you'd like to know more behind the scenes of things that I've done, please do let me know. If you're listening right now, I'd love to hear what you want to know about. We have some more guest episodes coming up, but yeah, it's great to hear from you what you want to know, because over here at EMMA LOVELL HQ, we do a lot of things. So thanks for listening and see you next time. Thank you for listening, lovely one. I hope this has inspired you to dream big and start creating a life you love today. If you love what you're hearing, don't forget to follow and rate on Spotify, and rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. It helps other awesome people to find this podcast and get motivated and inspired as well. Want to stay connected? Come and join the Live a Life You Love group on Facebook, or connect with me on Instagram, emmalovell.au. The same as my website, but all the details are in the show notes, lovely. I'll see you next episode for more inspiration, motivation, and freedom seeking. Now go out there and live a life you love.